this. I live this. Let's go.
Tell me your tale, you see the road, and my soul, and nigga the size, whenever the smoke out of my face, and my picture back, I look fried, all of that green and yellow, that eyes is your demise,
Tune in March 30th. Don't miss a tremendous fight. Thurman versus Tszyu. You watch.
What's good? What's good? It's the one, the only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So I have reviewed both interviews with Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu. Shout out to the boxing voice. I think I want to say there was it was shot. You know, both interviews was shot by the boxing voice. One by Ness and the other by I don't know the other his partner's name or whatnot. But I know the one with Keith Thurman was an interview by Ness or whatnot. Make sure you go subscribe to them. It was a good interview. But I wanted to go ahead and give my breakdown first and what I thought about the interview, like what I heard or what I took from the interviews. First and foremost, let me say both fighters seem very confident. Excuse me. Keith Thurman is more of his, you know how Keith Thurman is. Keith Thurman is very energetic, a very alive dog, inside and out of the ring. Has a lot of personality to himself. You gotta really like that or whatnot. It is good to see Keith Thurman back, all in all. I know I give Keith Thurman a hard time with his inactivities and all this type of stuff, but all in all, it is very good to see Keith Thurman back. Tim Tszyu is more of a laid back type of man. I'd rather just do my talking in the ring type stuff. Like, I ain't really just finna just get on here and brag or boast about everything that I'm finna do. I just rather show it in the ring and let you do all the talking. It is what it is. I don't really care for the hype. And you know what, man? And I know me being a Jermell Charlo fan, bro, and obviously the two names being pit against each other, I would often call, because I really want that fight. Again, I'm not like you boxing fans that like to protect your favorite fighter because it's a tough task. I know Tim Tszyu was a tough task and I respect it, which is why I wanted that fight for Jermell Charlo. But anyways, I like Tim Tszyu, man. I really do. I really like Tim Tszyu. I think he's a very humble person. And he just, he's all about, just making a statement. And the thing I love about Tim Tszyu, this is what I love most about Tim Tszyu. A lot of fighters that come in after their father, with the exception of like Floyd Mayweather, a lot of fighters like, Chavez Jr. or Conor Benn, or Chris Eubank Jr. A lot of those guys, like they literally use their father's last name to sell, to get them to the point, to push their name out further. Like, I feel like if it wasn't for their father, if it wasn't for their last name, I feel like they wouldn't have got to where they are. Tim Tszyu is one person that I feel like, or the only person that's coming to the boxing game, with the father, with his father making a step in boxing or whatnot. Aside from Floyd Mayweather, Floyd Mayweather surpassed his father though, 'cause his father, fought the likes of like Sugar Ray Leonard. His uncle, was a two-time welterweight champion. Rest in peace to the Mamba, to the Black Mamba or whatnot. But aside from like Floyd Mayweather, I feel like, bro, Tim Tszyu is the only fighter that's actually making a name for himself, not based off of his father's last name. And I really love and respect that about Tim Tszyu, man. I really do. I admire Tim Tszyu. I really do, man. So both fighters seem confident in this, man. It seems like Keith Thurman has the strategy more so of like, listen, bro, I'm finna come in here and, he's a, straightforward fighter, so I'm gonna come and work off of angles. He's gonna receive punches that he's, never seen before, coming from angles that he's never had to deal with or whatnot. Tim Tszyu is more so on the point like, man, like, I'm just coming here to do a job. Keith Thurman's been talking a lot, bro. I'm gonna prove my point in the ring, and I'm gonna definitely stop Keith Thurman or whatnot, and then I'm gonna go call on to the next, because I'm looking to build my legacy. All right. Once again, you just gotta respect that mentality. All right. Now, I do want to say this, man. Keith Thurman deserves credit for taking this fight, because a lot of times when you have somebody that's a dangerous fighter like Tim Tszyu, a lot of times people won't be so keen to like just hop in the ring with him until they see until they see some type of weakness. Kind of like how Triple G was. Now I don't think Tim Tszyu is nowhere near as dangerous as Triple G was when he was coming up, but a lot of fighters in Triple G's weight class, not every fighter, because you got fighters like Andre Ward that was calling Triple G out, but Triple G didn't want no parts of Andre Ward. But a lot of fighters like that were afraid of Triple G at 160. And it wasn't until Triple G got in there with Kell Brook, who was a career welterweight, and they saw that the little success that Kell Brook had kind of gave them, confidence, gave confidence enough at least for Danny Jacobs to step in there with Triple G, and then Canelo took on Triple G, right? So a lot of times fighters wait for that moment, bro. But Keith Thurman being a career welterweight is now moving up to, technically this is a middleweight fight. A lot of people don't overlook that. Like anything above 154 pounds is considered middleweight. So this is technically a middleweight fight. He's technically moving up 2 weight classes, but realistically or logically, it's closer to it's closer to a super welterweight than it is middleweight. But whatever. Keith Thurman deserves credit for this, man. He really does, man. And I like what Keith Thurman had to say, man. And I like the confidence that he seems to bring. I like the energy that he's bringing into this fight. All right. Tim Tszyu. I normally listen. I'm not a big fan of big fighters, calling out, guys in lower weight classes, unless if the guys in the lower weight classes are calling them out or, saying something about them, like then I can understand them like, all right, bro, come up here and get this work in. But I will say this, I'm not mad at this fight, bro. Tim Tszyu was in negotiations with Erickson Lubin, and it is what it is. That fell apart. He said that he did say that there were talks with him and Terrence Crawford, but that was taking too long, and Keith Thurman was on the rise, so he took that opportunity. All right, so it is. I think this is a good matchup. Obviously, Keith Thurman has the experience, but Tim Tszyu has the momentum, and that's what makes this fight, kind of intriguing to me. It's not the best. It's not something that I asked for. It's not something that it's something that I could definitely go without. But I'm not. It's here, so it is what it is. We're gonna take it for what it is. All right. Now, how do I see this fight playing? Now, I'm gonna go ahead and drop that right now because, honestly, like I said, Keith Thurman has the experience, right? And I definitely feel like Keith Thurman will bring something to the table that Tim Tszyu has not seen, because Tim Tszyu has never fought somebody like Keith Thurman, right? I think Keith Thurman will definitely, maybe like the first 2 rounds, kind of throw Tim off with, using angles. But I don't see Keith Thurman beating Tim Tszyu at all. And I'm just going to be honest. Why? Because ever since 2015, when Keith Thurman fought, Luis Collazo, and Luis Collazo hurt Keith Thurman to the body, it seems like that's been like the blueprint on how to beat Keith Thurman, right? Luis Collazo hurt him to the body. Josecito Lopez, Mario Barrios, Pacquiao, that's where he spit his mouthpiece out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just seems like that's the blueprint on how to beat Keith Thurman. And not only that, but you have a bigger guy with heavy hands coming forward, right? Now, I think Tim Tszyu will be walking into a few punches or whatnot. But I don't think Keith Thurman hasn't had a knockout since 2015. So it'll be since July 2015? So it'll be like damn near 9 years when he comes into the ring since he had a knockout. So I don't see even though he has more experience, I don't see Keith Thurman knocking out Tim Tszyu. All right. Now I can see him outboxing Tim Tszyu until not even until the 8th round. Because normally I would say I could see Keith Thurman outbox, or I could see the better boxer outbox him until he gets stopped. But no, I see Keith Thurman outboxing Tim Tszyu for like 2 rounds, and then I see Tim Tszyu kind of catching his momentum, like, feeling Keith out. And I feel after the 3rd round, bro, I think the momentum's gonna completely go to Tim Tszyu's favor, and then ultimately Keith Thurman gets stopped in the 8th or 9th round by a body shot or a hurt to the body and get stopped up top. Who knows? But that's how I feel. I think I got Tim Tszyu winning this fight 8th or 9th round TKO, man. Again, I think Keith Thurman is going to give him a few issues in the first 2 rounds, but I think ultimately Tim Tszyu will make adjustments, which will then cost Keith Thurman the fight. Let me know what you guys think. Who are you picking? Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. But what do I know?